Time for another Spotify monthly playlist, a playlist of what Annie has been listening to this month.
Hey, I'm Annie, and this is Why You Should Love Music.
It's February. Actually, it's March. It's March, so let's talk about February. What happened in February? What was going on in these ears? Let's discuss. You have to pardon my iPhone. I can't actually remember things, so I cheat. Okay, number one on the playlist, Believer by Imagine Dragons. If you guys don't know this thing about me, I'm obsessed with Imagine Dragons. They're amazing. I'm not even going to talk, I was about to tell you like the backstory of that band, but I feel like everybody who wants to know about them knows about them. But a funny backstory about me and Imagine Dragons, the first time I ever heard Imagine Dragons, my baby sister came home from school and she was like, I heard this great band that you'll love. And then she played me It's Time to Begin by Imagine Dragons because she's a dancer, and so she heard it in dance class. She was dancing to it. And I was like, no lie, my very first reaction, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so terrible. Like, that band's not going anywhere. They're terrible. But in my defense, the reason why I said that was because it was a direct rip-off. I was like, can you at least be a little bit subtle? If you're just going to directly rip off the Check Yes Juliet for the guitar part, can you at least be a little subtle about it? And so I was like really harsh about them. I was like, yeah, I hate that band. And my sister was like, oh, okay. But it's really funny because now I love them, of course, and they're wonderful. I get really annoying and really cranky about, like, if I feel like people don't have, like, any originality in art. Like, for art, I feel like if there's not originality, then I don't like it. But I was way off base. I'm so happy that I think that this band is the one that I've maybe had the most drastic opinion of from first hearing it to getting to know the band. I feel like I've done a complete 180. I love this band so much. I could just talk about them for like 3 days without stopping, so I'll just stop right now. They had a new song that came out in February, and it's called Believer, and it was amazing, and I loved it, and I played it obsessively, mostly on the piano, but kind of everywhere. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and I love it. Second song, Sold by Apsley. I don't know if I said his name right. His first name is Jacob. His last name is that thing. I think it's Apsley. That dude is so awesome. He's a kid from Idaho, and I really, really, really like his music. I just found out that was the first song I ever heard was Sold. Since then, he's come out with another track, which I also really love. But I'm obsessed with that song. It's so brilliant. First of all, it's just acoustically gorgeous. I don't mean acoustic like strumming. I just mean like audibly. It's audibly gorgeous. But the song is just about societal expectations versus human will. So it's really, really interesting. I love kind of more intellectual and thinking tracks. And this is really beautiful dissection of humanity and sociology. And also it does a beautiful trick. It plays a prank on you that I won't spoil the ending, but while you're listening, you're like, oh! And it gets you, and it's beautiful and amazing and wonderful. That looked probably very distressing to you, but it was wonderful, I promise. It's wonderful. I wrote about it. It's genius. It could not possibly be any more genius than it is, and I love it a lot. Magnificent, She Said, by Elbow. Is it just me, or does anybody else think macaroni every time they see Elbow? I see Elbow, and I'm just like, macaroni. I don't know what that says about my psyche, but that's what I think. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. I love it so much. It's my favorite song on that album by far. The album, I believe, came out in February. Could be totally wrong on that. But I'm pretty sure it came out in February. It's just a beautiful exploration of human potential. And I feel like the scale of the song is very, like, dramatic and epic. It has a beautiful trajectory. It just builds so poignantly and pointedly. I feel like I misenunciated that word, but that's okay. I misenunciated. I don't even think that's a real word. Now I'm just making up stuff. Just say a bunch of syllables together and sound confident, and people will totally think that that's a word in English. It's just a beautiful song about human potential and the effect that one individual and one soul can have on the world. It's very evocative of like kind of the butterfly effect or the ripple effect. It kind of has the setting of a small child on the beach and just kind of pondering this one tiny person. You really look at children, they're so silly and so frivolous a lot of the times, but they're also so profound and so limitless, and they don't have all of these boundaries. You know, kind of like the last track was talking about these boundaries and expectation that society plays, and this is just marveling at the lack of that in our youth, and in kind of the purest form of the human soul is limitless potential and how much one tiny soul can affect the whole entire world, and what that person is going to grow up to do, how many people's lives they're going to touch, what it can affect. So it's just this really grand and beautiful and inspiring song, both in its music and in its message. It's just really a celebration of what can be. Why does this keep blocking? Candy Hearts. This one is totally frivolous. Sorry to throw that one in there. February is a month where we celebrate love. Aww. But I didn't want to do just like a bunch of cheesy love songs, because I already did a playlist with a bunch of cheesy love songs, so you can go look that up. It's on my Spotify. It's called Valentine's Day, and it's like over 100 love songs, so you can barf your guts out. I mean, be in love. But this song is, it's a Relient K song. They released a Valentine's Day EP, which was fabulous. Most of it is hilarious, if not all of it is hilarious. But this one is kind of like a good middle-of-the-road one. It's not like anti-Valentine's Day, but it's not like, ooh, love. It's really fun, really spunky, and also it contains the phrase, pockets of our leotards. First of all, where are you shopping that your leotards have pockets? Because, like, I can't even find pants with decent pockets. Like, I'm a lady, so I have to buy lady pants. I guess I don't have to buy lady pants. But lady pants don't have pockets. So I'm like, your leotards have pockets? Like, where are you shopping, bro? I need to go there. So I couldn't not include it, because they have stuff hidden in the pockets of their leotards. You should know about this. It's great. You have sushi bars, you have leotards, you have candy hearts. What more could you ask for? Washed Up Together by Knox Hamilton. I love this band so much. So much. Okay, Knox Hamilton. So obsessed with them in the month of February. I think I found out about them in February. They're touring with Colony House right now, but actually the reason why I found about them, their publicist e-messaged me, you know, in case you thought that he actually had a courier pigeon that he sent to me, he e-messaged me, just for clarification. But the publicist message, you know what? This is a sign I should not talk about this. But I found out about them in February, and I started looking into them, so into them. I am now going to the Colony House show when they come to my state, because I really wanted to see Knox Hamilton and Colony House, because I love both of those people. Both of those groups of people. There's not... whatever. Knox Hamilton had a new single come out in February, but it was like the very end of February. It's called Pretty Way to Fight, and it's wonderful. But I feel like since it came out the end of February, I didn't listen to it all of February, but the one I was listening to all of February was Washed Up Together. I'm obsessed with this song. It's amazing. It's amazing. Be what you want if it makes you happy. What else can I say? That's it. That says it all. Do what you want. Also, I feel like this song has like an appropriate amount of humor. I always really love humor with my art. As much as I love intellectual things, I feel like they mix really well together. Like Einstein was... Geez, Annie, could you be any more pretentious? Can't say things like that. But I like humor mixed with intellect, because I'm a silly person. As much as I like to pretend like I'm an intellectual person, I'm really not. I'm just silly. And I feel like this does a great job of balancing that. It's kind of poking a little bit of fun at people from the outside looking in, judging you. It pokes a little bit of fun at them and kind of just really places the focus on what's most important and places the focus where it should be. New Machines by Vinyl Theater. Okay, I'm not sure if it was like January or February, but sometime recently at the beginning of this year, Vinyl Theater was just like, boom, here's 4 songs, and everyone was like, and it was amazing. I love all 4 tracks so much. I can't wait for Origami to come out. But by far, my favorite was New Machines. The song is friggin' amazing. The song is so amazing. This is another one that's very heavy on the science, which I personally love. But also, it's kind of a melding, a beautiful melding of art and science, I think. In the ancient world, the great thinkers weren't really shoeboxed into one category or another. You know, you had a scientist who was also a philosopher, who was also an artist, who was also an inventor. You know, the great thinkers of the world believed that understanding the world could only be done with a 360-degree view. They didn't think that you had to specialize and focus on one degree of the world. They thought that if you understand any one aspect, it would teach you about all the rest, which is really, really fun. I think that's a beautiful thought and concept. I definitely agree. But this song is just like kind of a celebration and taking comfort in the limitlessness limitlessness. That's a word. But it's just pondering at the expanse of potential of science and art and beauty and human intellect and human potential. And it's just this great exploration of the fact that the universe is so unexplored and that there is literally limitless potential of knowledge and of truth and of beauty and of art and of all of the things that are good about life, which is really fun. You think about everything that came from nothing, and then, looking back 2,000 years, all of the progress that has been made since then, all of the beautiful works and sciences, and every great thing that has happened since then. And then if you project that another 2,000 years, it's just kind of like mind blown at what could possibly be, and really just marveling that progression is never going to end. Hopefully. Fickle Game by Amber Run. I don't recall, again, if this came out January or February, but such a great album. This is by far my favorite track on the album. It's so beautiful. It boggles the mind how beautiful it is. It's amazing. I feel like this is a wonderful lament of kind of like the oxymorons of growing up and kind of coming into young adulthood. And it's just this constant battle about the oppositions of life. How, when you're a little kid, you're always struggling. You always want to be older and better and stronger and do more. And then when you're an adult, you're like, oh, this is too much. I can't adult. Either I need to be blissfully ignorant or I need to know much more than I know right now. And it's kind of this beautiful lament of these conflicting thoughts and emotions and wants and desires and needs of life. My very favorite part in the chorus is, I'm old enough to know I'll end up dying and not young enough to forget again. It's so amazing. By the way, this is not a depressing song or a sad song. It's wonderful. It is conflicted, but it's amazing, and I love it a lot. It's not depressing. Don't be depressed. Be inspired. But in saying that, you should know it doesn't necessarily reach conclusion. And I feel like most of the time, the best art doesn't reach conclusion because it allows space for the listener to become an active participant, which is the most beautiful. I don't want to just sit back and let art happen to me. I want to live and exist within the art. And this song totally does that. Charm City by Carousel Kings. I had a track off of this album in January's playlist. This song is super different though. This is the title track. This song is much more indicative audibly of the rest of the tracks on the album. And this is probably my second favorite song on the album, with Here Now Forever being my first. But this is just a wonderful, I feel like it's a very important song and also a very wonderful song. It's not flawless, intentionally so. I'm not being a 21 Pilots fan right now. I'm trying very hard not to be a 21 Pilots fan right now because that's right there. But the song is very intentionally flawed and beautiful. It's kind of a condemnation of the outside judgment from the world and kind of, from the point of view of someone who's being judged. And I think that, that's a common experience, part of being human, unfortunately. I feel like we've all felt that judgment from the world. But it's really talking about how what motivates that judgment is oftentimes unfounded, entirely unfounded. It's motivated by things like fear or misunderstanding. And this is really just a beautiful song. It's sad, but wonderful. Delicate by Scott Quinn. I died. I didn't die because this song is about dying, but this is one of those tracks where you hear it and your world stops spinning for a minute and you just exist, and it's wonderful. This song is really just about the ephemeral nature of human beings and kind of an invitation to pause and to treasure what is important to you. It really explores the reality of mortality, and kind of the crux of it, the main part of the chorus, is talking about when you're lying there on your deathbed, taking your last breath, are you going to be surrounded by the people that you loved? Meaning, did you fill your life with what was most important to you? Or did you work yourself to death for a man who will never know your name? That is so sad. This song is more beautiful than sad, and it's more inspiring than it is beautiful, which is a very hard thing to do, but it manages it. It's just a wonderful reminder, and an invitation to fill your life with meaningful things, because mortality, man. So it's just like bringing that to the center focus in an uplifting way, rather than being like, yep, we're all gonna die. It's like, life is fleeting, so be very purposeful about what you fill your life with. And it's very inspiring, very beautiful. It has a gorgeous music video. I say music video because I'm not sure if it's like a lyric video or a music video. I don't recall at this moment, but it's wonderful.